truckers, then the implications of this war would be much more clear to Americans. But right now, we have no idea what to believe because we've been lied to about what disinformation and what real information really is for so long.
You know, Kara, the saddest part about this whole thing, I'm out to dinner with my wife tonight before I get on the air. And we're having a conversation, and she asked me about MasterCard. She's like, what do you think, MasterCard cutting off Putin and Russia and PayPal and other payment services? And I said, you know what? Ordinarily, I'd say, wow, that's really terrific. Good. It'll put some pressure on them. But you know what seriously concerns me? That the left will see this as a bat signal to go in again and turn this on their political enemies here at home. And by the way, that's not a conspiracy theory. They've already done this kind of stuff. Stripe kicking Donald Trump off. That's got to concern you, too, focusing on this stuff over at Heritage.
Precisely. I think this is a test run. Russia is a test run for what they can do to their domestic enemies here in the United States. We saw from the Department of Homeland Security on February 7th, they issued a threat advisory that said if Americans purvey disinformation, misinformation, malinformation over social media, that could potentially be considered terrorist activities. What have our neighbors to the north done? What has Trudeau done when it comes to pushing GoFundMe to not give the money to the truckers, that remaining $9 million? They've debanked, they've deplatformed the Freedom Convoy. I believe that this is fully a test run for what they can do to us here at home, and it is unsatisfactory.
It's weird. It's like, you know, we're emulating these autocrats' tactics. Well, last question. I got about 30 seconds left. But, you know, I read an interesting article in The Spectator by Stephen Miller talking about how this is the first social media war of our time, at least on this scale. You know, propaganda is everywhere, but the ability to see the war in live time outside of grainy images and night vision like we saw in the Iraq war, that changes the calculus here on both sides, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And especially when these tech companies are coming in and saying, you know, we're going to be arbiters of truth. I'm looking at this and I'm saying, OK, now do the Chinese Communist Party. You know, if you're going to virtue signal and you're going to not allow people to use your platforms, et cetera, and you're going to let Putin pile up the body bags and not have Trump on your platforms, they are building an airplane in mid-flight. They don't have a consistent framework, and it is not redounding to the benefit of the American people. I'm very worried about what's to come at the hands of big tech.
Such a good point. Such a good point. Kara, thanks for joining me.